Well, as you know, if you watched any of my recent videos, I am extremely fond of the Daisy Red Ryder BB gun. As you know, I've made new wooden stocks for it, and I've modified the rear sight. I absolutely love this BB gun. It is fantastic. Now, during the course of my research on the Daisy Red Ryder, I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole and got very interested in Daisy, the BB manufacturing company in the States. And apart from the very famous Red Ryder, which you see before you, they also made a whole other load of BB guns, both rifles and pistols. And I was just doing my research, and there's an incredible range of stuff. And anyway, so because of that, I had a hunt around on sort of the gun trading sites in the UK to see whether there were any second-hand Daisy BB guns. The Red Ryders are fairly common over here, but the other Daisy guns are not. They're fairly rare. However, I was very, very lucky. This lovely example of a Daisy Model 1894 BB gun. I spotted this on Gun Trader in the UK, and it was a very reasonable price, and it seemed to be in very good condition. And I snapped it up, and this is just an amazing BB gun. Now, these were part of Daisy's Spitting image series of BB guns, which were meant to be close as possible replicas to real firearms. Now, this is Model 1894. This is supposed to be a replica of the Winchester model of 1894 lever action repeating rifle, and it's pretty damn close. Now, we'll have a look at this gun in detail first, close up at it, and then we will put it next to my Umarex replica of the model of 1894. Unfortunately, I don't have a real Winchester 1894. I wish I did, but then I, sadly don't have £6,000 to £10,000 lying around to buy one, unfortunately. Anyway, let's have a close look at this one. Now, as you probably saw when they were together, the 1894 is considerably longer than the Red Ryder, but then it is supposed to be a replica, so therefore it is basically, it's more or less the same length as the original carbine, the Winchester. So let's have a look at it. So starting at the front, we've got the barrel and the magazine tube, which is exactly what you'd have on the original. We've got a couple of barrel band straps holding it all together, and we'll move down the gun. There we go. Now, the forestock and main buttstock on this are plastic. This is plastic rather than wood. They did make some with wooden forestock and buttstocks, and I would really like to get hold of one of those. But like I said, second-hand Daisy BB guns in this country are quite rare. Some of the modern pistols, you can pick those up, but the earlier ones are just very rare. Now, as far as I've been able to decode, the roll stamp serial number, which is on the barrel, indicates that this was made in February of 1974. Now, these were made from 1961 to 1986, so it's a fairly early one, and as such, it's in pretty good condition. I mean, yes, there's some finish missing off the barrel there, but if that's all that's wrong with it, then that's amazing, given the time period. So we'll swing around to this end, and so like the Red Ryder, it uses a lever to cock the gun, and I'll show you this in action later. But this lever is much more shaped like the Winchester lever, whereas on the Daisy Red Ryder it's longer and thinner. Now, this is all very similar, even to the saddle ring. This is all very similar to the Winchester. It's got the same style of rear sight on it, just like the Winchester, adjustable for elevation but not windage. But the biggest difference is that the 1894 has a hammer, and that is very interesting. Obviously the Red Ryder doesn't have a hammer, and that is in fact part of the gun's safety, and I'll explain how that works in a minute. So we'll just whiz down to the end there, and there is the rather nice plastic buttstock. Now, obviously, you know, we're talking about the 70s. They have the ability that they have nowadays to make plastic really, really look like wood. You know, the wood on the wood effect plastic that's on my Umrex rifle is very, very good. This is obviously plastic, but they've made an attempt to put a grain on it and everything. And I'm really pleased. The plastics on Daisy BB guns over time do tend to warp and crack. There are no cracks or warpage in any of this. It's the plastics are fine on this gun. So let's flip it over and have a look at the other side. What's to see on this side? Well, one of the lovely things about this gun is it has the same King's loading gate that the original Winchester had, and not only that, this is where you put the BBs in. You put them in through this loading gate and they go into a loading tube which goes down here, and so it loads up very similar to the way the cartridges load up in the original. So as I said, you drop the BBs into here and they roll down to this loading tube. Then they actually go into the magazine tube. There is a little tab here, which once the BBs are loaded, you pull this back and the BBs then drop down into the magazine tube. And then this will come forward and stop at the point where the BBs have loaded into the tube. Now there's nothing in at the moment, so it's empty. Yeah, it's a very, very nice example of one of these guns, and I was very, very lucky to get hold of it, and it all functions and shoots fine. It's about as powerful as my Red Ryder. That is to say that at my short 8.5 meter range, it will quite easily punch a hole through a Red Bull can, no problem at all. Let's have a look at the way it operates. You pull the lever all the way forward. Quite a heave to do that until it clicks. Now on the Red Ryder, this will easily fold back flat, but on the 1894 you have to actually pull this back, and there's quite a lot of effort required to do that. But the gun will not fire. The trigger is completely locked. What you have to do in order to fire it is to pull the hammer back like that, and then it will fire. So here it is next to the Umrex, model of 1894, and as I think you can see, they are very similar. I mean, the lever on both is very, very similar. The hammer is very similar. Yeah, you've got the loading gate, slightly different position on the Daisy, but you know, it's still there and it's functional. But no, I think that they made a really good job of copying, you know, the original. So there you go. That's the two together. I said I wish I had a real Winchester lever action repeating rifle. That would be so cool, and then we could compare all of them. But yeah, that's the comparison. Well, that's really about it for the model of 1894 Spittin Image Series Daisy BB gun. I'm extremely pleased to have this in my little airgun collection. I've had a lot of fun with this. I've already put a whole load of BBs through it. These things are just so much fun. And I was very, very lucky to get one of these. And I just thought, you know, a few of you guys out there that are interested in this kind of stuff might like to see it. As I said, these don't come up for sale very often in the UK. So very, very lucky to get this one. Anyway, that's it for now. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.